Yeah, thank you for being here, guys. End of spring. I mean, obviously, the end of it will be the alumni game tonight, but good practice. We ended with a little bit of live work with the threes, and got some good situational work in there with the ones and the twos. It was a good back and forth day. Like all the spring has been. I can't say that one side has won more than the other. I think it's been pretty even. And it wasn't really, it's not like it's day to day. It's more like a situation and drive to drive. It's been a different story. So, but what I have seen from the team is everybody improving. I do like that everybody's understanding the scheme a lot more, and you're seeing guys be able to lead and knowing that they're just in the same system and understanding it a little bit more. Offensively, we're able to put some new things in there that I think will be beneficial for us getting to the fall. And defensively, just really working on our technique and trying to get better so we can make more plays. Get better with our pass rush, better at tackling, and I think we were able to accomplish all of that. So, looking forward to the off season and getting to the grind of it all this summer. Obviously, the guys will have some time off. They'll be able to focus on finals and things like that, and get some time off that's required, and recover, and then we'll get back to work when we get right there in May. So, but right now we're still got meetings and still got a few workouts, but we're gonna get transition out to the summer conditioning.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with questions from Jared Lloyd and then Jay Drew.
Kalani, you've been through a lot of spring camps. How does this compare? Because you knew coming in you had a lot of veterans coming back, but I just wonder how you feel about the team's position compared to some of the other years as you look back.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about the leadership and the guys that just kind of have understand they understand the offense and the defense, the foundation of our stuff, So having more bodies and more players that understand the scheme in all three phases, not just offense, defense, but also special teams. And we return a bunch of guys that have played a lot of reps in all three phases. I think has been a huge benefit. So we were able to do a few things that we normally wouldn't do with our ones and twos, and that's add on to the scheme, but also put them in more situational stuff. This year we played a lot of 11-on-11 football and did a lot of live work, and that was always get a little nervous about doing it, but if you want to get better at football, that's what you got to do. Is you have to just practice football and practice tackling, being live, and then that's so you just have to. There's a little bit of a stress behind all of it, but I think overall, I think we got through it. With our health intact. I think guys are banged up, but they're not. They're not. It's not going to be difficult to get them back. So by the time we get ready to roll off season in May, they'll be ready to roll.
Go ahead, Jay.
Kalani, I know you still got a few meetings and conditioning sessions or what left, but what did you kind of tell the group as a whole? What was your message as you send them off into the off season that you want to see happen over the next 4 months until you kind of get together again?
Well, I think I just got done talking about how familiar everyone is with the scheme, but they're also familiar with the weight room. So we're way further ahead now than we were last year with the weight room and our test scores and everything that we're seeing from the strength gains in the body and the muscle mass compared to the fat. I think the guys are in a much better place now. And so even going to the time that's required, the off time that's required, we still have kind of a recommendation for our lifts and our how our guys should take the time off. It's not like they're just going to have a break and just kick their feet up. They still have work to do. It's just we're not going to be able to do it as a team. This is more of a non-mandatory type of break that we're giving them. But they're able to just focus on getting the finals done and finishing up the semester. And then there's that time where a lot of guys are. This is the spring when people are getting married, things like that. So attend a lot of those things, and then by the time we get back to our mandatory conditioning, and that's what we're gonna get done. So just asking them to continue what we started in spring, and with our player run stuff, I think they can get a lot of that. When we're talking about just making sure that to do it and practice what we've already done in spring, just now that the players, it's going to be all player run practices, they can just take ownership of it themselves.
All right, we'll go to Mitch Harper and then back to Jared Lloyd.
Kalani, I know that at the beginning of spring, you noted that your roster doesn't have to be trimmed down officially until week 1 of the season coming up in August. But I'm curious, when you have these conversations with the coaches on deciding how to trim down the roster, what goes into, deciding who's going to make that cut? Is it the film from spring? Is it what players have done, in previous seasons? What factors are you looking at to really decide who's going to make that 105-man roster or not?
Well, I think regardless of the roster, even though there's a roster cut that's being, put out there by the first game, uh, regardless, we're always going to give feedback to our players. That's what spring is. We want to let them know where they stand and what we see, and kind of what their situation is on the depth chart and what we think they can do in competition. And so, feedback is a gift. We're going to be able to tell them what we see, have a conversation with them, and then decide we can help them decide what's the best thing for their future. Is it staying here and completing their degree at BYU, or is it moving on if they want to just go play somewhere? And then, we were hearing a lot of different things. People are fighting the roster adjustment, and so what you don't want to do is just all of a sudden we're the only ones making these roster cuts, and then nobody else is doing it because they're going to be able to hang on to people. So we're just having conversations in the next couple of weeks, just letting them know where they stand and how we view where they're at individually, and then just allowing them to make a decision. There is another transfer portal that's opening, here in the next little bit, and so we want to make sure that to be transparent with our players, and that the key to that is just communicating.
Wanted to ask too, what have Tom and administrators told you as far as how competitive you guys are going to be when it comes to revenue sharing and the amount you guys are going to pay out? I know you're not going to get into specifics, but just how competitive and comparable you're going to be to your Big 12 peers when it comes to the amount that you're dishing out when revenue sharing kicks in this fall.
Yeah, I think other schools have already kind of mentioned what their rev share is going to be. Us being a private institution, I don't know if that's going to be out in the open or not. I don't know, but it's going to be. I think they want to be competitive. I mean, that's how we're able to retain our staff. So it's got to extend to the entire football program. So I imagine that's where we're going to be. We just have to still wait and see when we get to this April 7th date, and then kind of go from there. I think everyone's kind of planning for things to happen, but until they're actually set, you're all we're doing is just really just preparing. And so yeah, well, there's still discussions being made about all the numbers and things like that, and what teams are doing with NIL, things like that. So that's still, I think it's still up in the air, and it's not set in stone yet, but there are some plans for things and to provide like a salary cap, things like that in football. But until we know, it's like certain steps have to happen in order for all the other stuff to fall into place.
Go ahead, Jared. Jared, we can't hear you. Maybe.
Is my internet breaking up? Can you hear me?
Oh, I got.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Sorry, Kalani. I was just asking if you had a highlight moment or something that really stood out to you just from the last few weeks of spring camp.
I mean, they're all highlights to me. Whenever you can play football, I think for the most part it was like I I was really happy with the team in the conditioning part of it, because they're not in the best shape right now, but they don't need to be. We just need to time it so that we're working towards that when the season gets here. So balancing that and being on the football field, and then kind of knowing the numbers and seeing that the data that we've been given, and then kind of working through the sports science part, has put us in a position where we can still be healthy and still test our guys and still get physical. So I think for the most part, with as much of the physical tackling and hitting and live work that we got this spring ball, I think we came out of it pretty pretty healthy. And so that and then just the highlight of being around the guys and seeing them, the guys that have decided to come back, like Chase Roberts and others that just bought into what we're doing, and seeing the newcomers be here, and it's like it's almost like this was an easy transition for them. It almost feels like they've been here the entire time. They fit our culture and our program and just the way we operate. It's like not even a transition. They just fit automatically when they stepped onto campus. So all of that is it's all working right now. We just got to stay humble, keep working hard, man, and just stay hungry.
Go ahead, Mitch.
Kalani, you got your long-term extension locked into place. You're heading in your 10th year of the program. Just is this how, when you took the job at the beginning, back in 2016, is the structure that you have now with the commitment with your staff, as you pointed out, retaining those guys? Is this how you envision BYU football looking like when you took the job to begin this, and now heading into the next phase with your new contract?
Yeah, in some degree. I mean, I wish I could tell you that I knew what the future was going to be, but I just knew that if we wanted to be a Power Five conference when I first got the job, that we got to play those tough opponents. And so the first thing that we did when I got the job is tell Tom, let's go to work. Let's get the most difficult opponents, specifically the Power Five opponents, and then let's get them on the schedule. And I knew it was going to put us in bad positions and stress us a little, but I think it allowed us to see what we need to do to get this program ready. And so we were able to get on a faster pace learning, getting the team ready. And then I felt really good with this year, especially going to this off season and this spring ball, about our whole roster at 123 being super strong and super deep. And then to have this this situation where now the roster is going to have to be cut to 105. I'm not the only one that's complaining about it. That's everybody in college football doesn't want to see that, but we've got to adjust again. But it sucks when you work on really getting the team as deep and as strong as you can, and there's not a lot of drop off from 1 to 2 and even to 3, and then all of a sudden now have to like adjust and make and get the roster trimmed down when. And so we're gonna have to balance that with the practices and how we function in the fall. And work again and just kind of work and help serve each other, even with our twos, doing some scout work for our ones. It's going to move towards an NFL model where it's like an OTA type practice. So I think getting ahead of it and being physical and tackling right now is going to be huge for us. And then we're able to get a lot of it on film. So that what I'm saying is that from the beginning to now, it's worked out because all we've done is been aggressive and try to get this team and try to run it like a big time program to match our fan base that's been big time the entire time that I've been alive. So and I think we're getting really close to where we're at, but there's still a lot of lessons to still be learned.
And with the kind of leveling up and settling in now at a power conference, is it becoming maybe more unrealistic to expect any summer bridge players that are going to join in summer to actually have an impact, or the guys that you feel competed in spring, they're going to be mainly the guys that are competing for the 2 deep coming up in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could just say, you know what's going on, Mitch, is that nothing. You can't really make a blanket statement anymore for a group of young men because everything is more case by case now. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next little bit or what's going to happen even in the portal in this session or this portal part in April. But we'll be foolish not to look into making our team better and having more talent. But the talent's got to match what we do as a program culturally and what we expect from them off the field and in the classroom. So all that stuff has to match. It just can't just be only one-sided with just football. And fortunately, there's a lot of people that fit being able to do it off the field in the classroom and on the field here, and that's kind of what it's about. But you're right, the recruiting is going to have to shift a little bit because you have to work with the portal, and then with high school, I don't know if we're going to sign as many high school kids as we've done in the past because the roster's smaller and because it's just hard to project that far ahead now.